Hello, and welcome to the first performance of our three-part Summer Arts Festival featuring performances at The Completed Life. Each performance featured in our Summer Arts Festival features either a play or a musical about what it means to live well and die on your own terms. We embrace the belief that life is a cycle beginning with birth and ending with death. Yet, American culture is generally uncomfortable addressing death. How do we explain this profound cultural paradox? Like many of life's great unanswered questions, meaning is found through open discussion and profoundly expressed through the performing arts. Today's performance of Till Soon, Anne is a musical about a 34-year-old woman in the final stages of brain cancer who invites her closest friends and family to a perfect last weekend, determined to celebrate the life she's been given and embrace the art of letting go. Today, I'm delighted to welcome the creators of Till Soon, Anne to the Completed Life stage. Christine Toy Johnson is a writer, actor, director, and advocate for inclusion. You can read more about her work at www.christinetoyjohnson.com. Bobby Cronin is a composer and writer, and you can read more about his work at his website, www.bobbycronin.com. Christine and Bobby will lead us through a curated experience of their musical. Before we begin, please be aware that you may input your questions into the chat feature located on the lower right-hand corner of your screen. Please feel free to submit your questions throughout the event. Later on, we will turn to your questions for an interactive question and answer period with Christine and Bobby. Also, if you'd like assistance with closed captioning, you may toggle on the box located in the lower left-hand corner of your screen that provides captioning for the spoken words of our event today. Finally, one last note about logistics. We will be sharing a transcription of today's performance with you via file share. A box will pop up on your screen, and please click on the file name and click download, and you'll be able to follow along with the words that are being sung in today's performance. So without further ado, Christine and Bobby, thank you so much for being here, and to our audience, thank you so much for joining us. Today's recording is being recorded, so if you would like to play back later on, the recording will be shared with you at a later date. So without further ado, Christine and Bobby, please take us away.
Thank you. Chris, you're muted.
I'm sorry about that. It's going very well. Thank you so much, Sarah, for inviting us to be here today, and so we can share the story of our musical Till Soon, Anne. Like Sarah said, I'm Christine Toy Johnson, and I wrote the book and lyrics.
And my name is Bobby Cronin, and I wrote the music.
And to reiterate what Sarah also said, our show is about a young woman at the end of her journey with brain cancer who decides to throw one last perfect weekend for her family and closest friends before she exercises her right to die. And she is determined to celebrate the life she's been given.
We were inspired to write this after reading several stories about people who chose to approach death with dignity, along with grace and love, with their families right by their side.
Today, we're going to share some videos from a live performance of 5 songs from the show, performed by the incredible Erin Mackey as Anne and Wade McCullum as her husband, Robbie. You can follow along with the script that we passed along. It's for the videos. And Bobby and I will also read some of the dialogue that precedes some of the songs to give you a glimpse into the story. So, Bobby, take it away.
In the opening of our show, our heroine, Anne, sends an invitation to her family and closest friends. Anne, read by Christine, speaks into a camera.
So, you all know this, but I send photos in the mail. made of paper. I know, so old school. I just love the feel of paper, the feel of a photograph. To hold a photo in your hands, to touch a person's feelings captured on film. I don't know. Something about it makes me feel like we're really together in this dimension.
We see a projection of a live video feed of Anne as she continues to speak.
And then it becomes this sort of tangible keepsake of our time, even for when after the memories fly away.
She opens a photo album and sees images of the people in her life as they flash before her eyes. We see projections of the photos of the characters we're about to meet going in and out of soft focus. The lights get brighter, colliding with the music and images, and then closes the album. Lights and music soften.
I send photos to you in the mail, the ones I treasure most.
She turns off the video camera and begins to write a card.
This has been a crazy year. Let's bring in the new. Celebrations overdue. Come join us. My birthday and New Year's steal away. Kick off your shoes, turn off the news. We'll gather up our good cheer. Come sing out loud, hey we're alone. We've made it through one more year. So let's have a party. Let's take our days and season, breakfast, and season. Sad, dream on the back, but nothing is guaranteed. Building some wine, and we'll be fine. 'Cause family is all we need. The plans that we made went south. Nothing in life is sure, but I'm sure of one thing. I want to be with you. Yes, I need to be Let's have some cheese and brandy. Eat too much bread and candy. Let's be mad. No time for crying. No time for sad goodbyes. Here's what we'll do. Gather our crew and gaze at the crimson skies. At least it's a party. Hell of a party. We'll go out with a party.
As the play continues, we learn first that it is the end of December 2016, right after the election. We learn that Anne is at the end of her journey with brain cancer and has invited her closest friends and family to gather for a perfect last weekend together. We meet her mother, Ellen, the keeper of positive attitudes and faith in her daughter's decision to die on her own terms. Her father, Jim, who wrestles to navigate his grief and faith. Her sister, Bethany, unsure if she wants to escape the shadow of her sibling. Her childhood best friend, Kimber, a conservative Republican, at odds with the rest of the group, and Anne's approach to the end of her life. Her college best friend, Cynthia, a Buddhist lesbian from Hawaii, who will fight to the end for her friend's right to choose how she lives. Her ex-husband, Will, a self-centered movie star, but with a heart of gold. And her husband, Robbie, the kindest man of all men. Tonight, we're just going to show you some of Anne and Robbie's moments. In the next scene, Anne remembers their first date, which took place a couple of years ago. They've just eaten dinner, and he's playing guitar for her. She keeps taking his picture.
You're just full of surprises.
What do you mean?
The first cooking, and now the guitar. What can you do?
Oh, plenty. Do you play?
I wish.
I could teach you.
No offense, but I don't think anyone can teach me how to play an instrument. Or cook. But I can eat, and that was the most delicious meal I've ever had.
I'm glad you liked it.
Ugh, if I liked it any more, I'd have eaten the plate. Seriously, how long have you been cooking like this?
Like this? About 2 hours.
No, really.
This particular recipe, really. This is my own recipe. First I pour a glass of thread. Take my time, yeah, that's the key. Don't look back, don't look ahead. I use some oregano, then I add a squeeze of lime, and I watch the flavors grow. Add some garlic, salt, and thyme. Stir it slow, then add some love. Bring it in and let it go. But there's something new I found. Suddenly my force knocks my feet right off the ground, and I see a different course. I see how you look at me, and I know it's what I've meant. I feel this will be why this sauce is heaven kissed. Now I see clear as can be what I need is me. You're the one who had the gold. You're the one who makes it bold. You're the one who makes it sweet.
kisses her again. Time stands still.
Later in the play, after we've met her nearest and dearest and seen how they are navigating the weekend and each other, Anne wanders alone into the living room. She looks around, not sure why she came into the room, a symptom of her illness. She sees Robbie's guitar and touches it lovingly. She spots a picture on the fireplace mantel of herself and Robbie on the porch swing. We see a projection of a photo of Robbie and Anne on the porch swing. It's very blurry. Anne stares intently at it, willing it to come into focus.
It comes to life. It is now April 2016. Robbie sits on the swing, playing his guitar softly. Anne joins him, bringing him a cup of coffee. Christine and I will now read the next scene.
Is everything okay at the office?
They'll survive. So, we'll tell them after dinner?
Yeah. I figure let them have one more good meal before I ruin everything. They're going to want me to get a third opinion, of course.
Of course.
I think I'd like to see Sheila Hansen up here. She took really good care of Granddaddy when he had his.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But we should do the surgery in the city. Sin said Mom and Dad and Beth could stay at her place. She's got tons of room now that Frankie's moved out.
Good. Good. Sounds like you've got it all figured out.
How can I do this to them? I'm so fucking mad at myself.
What? Why, honey? What could you possibly have to be mad at yourself about?
Stupid fucking brain tumor. I could have.
What? What could you have done?
I don't know. Maybe it's all those horrible, mean thoughts I've ever had about anyone. Maybe I haven't been a good enough person. I never donated to Greenpeace. I've eaten too much sushi or kale or French fries. I've been so happy being married to you for the past 8 months, but this is really what I deserve.
Shh, honey, stop.
What if they're right about... What if the surgery doesn't work? What then?
We take it one day at a time. This day, tell your mom and dad.
I hate this one.
Then we'll take another one.
I think I'll hate that one too.
Then we'll take another and another.
What if you start hating them too? And then me.
Never.
How can you be so sure?
Because I'm sure of you. Anything you need, you tell me. Promise?
Anything?
Yes. What? What is it?
I need you to teach me how to play guitar.
Okay. Now?
Yes. I want to start doing things I thought I never could. Starting today, I'll cook for my family, play the guitar, get a hold of some radical hope.
Come here.
She nestles into him as he wraps his arms around her from behind, holding his guitar in front of them.
See there? You're already a natural.
Wow, you're really good. I love the mountains, the winter, the freedom of speech, a summer beach, your little button nose, 2 rows of footprints on the beach. I love the morning, summer, the curve of your arm, chicken parm, your sexy little ear, your sheer and unrelenting charm. A thousand things, there are 1,000 things that I love and cherish too. 1,000 things, there are 10,000 things, but the best of all is you. I love your singing, your cooking, your courage to live, the laugh you give while dancing in the rain, your brain. Your preference to forgive. 1,000 things, there are 1,000 things that I cherish about you. And if one thing out of those 1,000 things needs care, I'm there for you. I won't stop loving you. I'll be alright with you. I'll be right here with you.
Back to the present. At this point in the play, we've learned of Anne's plan to exercise her right to die at the end of the weekend.
Anne sits on the swing alone and stares at the photo as it goes out of focus again. Bobby and I will read this scene.
You feeling okay, babe?
I think I need to lie down, but I don't want to miss anything.
Oh, go lie down. We'll be here.
No, I don't want to leave you. I'm sorry
For what?
for ruining your life.
My life is a miracle because of you.
Maybe this was all a big mistake.
You can change your mind anytime you want. You know that, right?
Do you want me to?
What?
Change my mind.
Babe, where's this coming from?
It's just this weekend. It's not really what I imagined, what I wanted.
What did you want?
I wanted everyone to be okay. Instead, when we're all together, it's like they're talking to a mental patient, and surprise, it's me.
People have their own way of dealing with this, honey. We're all just figuring it out.
Well, I don't really have time for that.
You don't think we know that?
I just want people to be normal. Act normal. Treat me like I'm normal.
But you're not. This whole situation is as far from normal as any of us have ever seen or ever will again, God willing.
Leave God out of this.
Maybe if you stop trying to make this into what you think you want, you'd see
See what?
what this is doing to all of us.
You think this is what I want?
I'm just saying
What? What are you saying?
nothing. Forget it.
No. I need you to stop protecting me to death and say what you mean. Please.
I don't want to fight. My God, we have less than 24 hours left on this earth together.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I love you. I love you so much.
I know. I know that. I just.
But you're wrong. I do see what this is doing to you. To all of you. It's almost all I think about. I see you soldiering on as if your life depended on it. And I want you to know that I want you to. I want you to go on. To fall in love again. To have a family.
Anne.
You'll be okay. I know it. I'm counting on it.
I wish with every fiber of my being that I could take what you're going through and make it mine. Then maybe I'd be okay.
But you can't. Take it away from me. You know that, right? Maybe I can't transform your pain into something I wish it never had to be. And maybe I can't control every part of the story the way I want to. But I have to keep trying. For one more day. Have to.
Okay, honey. Okay.
Oh my God, I sound crazy, don't I? Do you think I'm crazy?
I think you're perfect, man.
Not you two.
I mean, I think you're doing the best you can, and that's the perfect thing to do right now.
Am I doing the best I can? I don't know anymore.
Trust in you, I trust in you. You have everything you'll ever need. You have everything I'll ever need. 'Cause baby, it's true. It's always been you. Don't know anyone who has all the right stuff like you do. Look at you, I look at you. You are everything you'll ever need. You are everything I'll ever need. Yes, baby, it's true. It's always been you. Don't know anyone who has all the right stuff like you. It's all the right stuff. You are more than
Later, Anne reassures her father that she has had everything she's ever wanted in life. He tries to speak, but he can't. Anne takes charge of the moment.
I always dreamed I'd swim the English Channel and photograph a woman right out here in our front yard. Then maybe win an Oscar and kill it as
One, two, and
Later that evening, Anne's loved ones gather and watch a video message that she has left behind for them.
So that's our life story so far. When you look at these pictures, I hope you can see all the different ways I saw you and how I love you so completely. How lucky I am to have had you love me back. I'm ready to stop being scared, to be part of the sky and stars above. I know you will live on through me, and I hope I will live on through you. This is the part where I say farewell. Not forever, but for now. Till soon.
A group photo taken earlier that day projects on the screen. Blurry at first, it comes into sharp focus. The music we heard in the opening, the soundtrack of her life, begins to play, gently, then quickly getting louder and more joyous. The lights get bright.
Then silence. Blackout. End of play.
Wow. A round of applause. I know presenting to a virtual audience is deafening applause because you can't hear it and everyone's muted. But
We've sadly gotten very used to it.
Yes, we have.
but wow, I'm just speechless. I see people clapping with their little remote hands on their icons.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
So thank you, Christine and Bobby. That was so powerful. I think we need to send around a big box of virtual tissues to everybody. And just wow, thank you so much for sharing your musical with us. To everyone in the audience, we sent around a file transfer in case you joined us late, and that file transfer includes a transcript of the lyrics to Till Soon Anne. So if you click on that document and then download it, it'll pop up and you can look through that. But in the meantime, let's see if anyone has any questions for Bobby and Christine. And if you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand. You can ask it via webcam. You can raise your hand, ask a question, or put it into the chat. So we'll give people a few minutes to come up with questions. But I was just so curious, how did you two come up with this musical? Like, what inspired the story, and where did you begin?
Well, Bobby and I had collaborated on a number of projects, of short projects, and we quickly learned how much we loved each other and how much we loved writing together. And we were looking for a subject that would really captivate us to write a full length. Because for those of you who've never written a musical, and I'm assuming that there might be some people in this audience who have, but many who have not, it takes a very long time. It takes a very long time for the whole process. So we knew we needed to commit to something that really struck us so that we could be passionate about. And then Bobby.
So I am an avid news reader. I probably spend more time reading the news than doing anything else. And I read this article about a woman who sort of brought her friends together to celebrate the end of her life, at the end of which she was going to exercise her right to die. And I was just bawling my eyes out reading this article, and I had this feeling in my gut of like, oh, this is it. So I texted it to Christine, and 5 minutes later, she wrote me back and she said, this is our musical. And I was like, yes, this is our musical. And then we started doing research on a bunch of different stories that lived in this world, and we gathered information from lots of different stories to create our own.
Wow.
Yeah, and so I think that was probably, we were for a while we were writing in real time. So I
Right.
remember writing that scene about that we deciding to make it New Year's of 2016. No,
17, going into
17,
2000.
because
Yep.
the election had just happened and it was in real time. And that was kind of crazy to be writing in real time. And now it's 5 years later. So that tells you how long it takes to get things done too. It's interesting to look back um, and see it in this certain kind of time capsule.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing. So we have some questions starting to come in. Susan is wondering, where have you performed till soon, and how did the audience react?
So we've done two big presentations in New York City. The first one was an invite only, what's called a reading, where the actors stand behind music stands like what you saw in the videos. There's no sets, there's no real costumes or lights. And it was the first time that we had presented the piece. Christine and I went to the O'Neill in Connecticut, the Eugene O'Neill Theater Center, to write. We did two writing retreats there at two different years. And so this was our first time getting actors together to sing everything and to read the script aloud for an audience. And the feedback that we got was, I was astounded that people would be so interested in a story like this. Because my fear was that people would say, oh, it's so sad. But what Christine and I tried to do in writing it was to fill it with hope and to really make it like a family drama and comedy. It's actually quite funny as well. And it's one of the reasons that I chose to go really catchy with a lot of the music, was that I wanted to save the dramatic ballads from when we really needed dramatic ballads. And I love me a good dramatic ballad, but in this piece, I kept making sure that the drama only came when it was necessary, that the ballads only came at that point. Luckily, the audience was really receptive to it. Then our second presentation was what the videos you saw. And that audience was extremely responsive. There was a young woman in the front who, the entire thing, she cried through the entire thing, and I thought she just hated it or whatever. And she came up afterwards and hugged me, and she said, I just went through this with my family, and I can't believe you captured it so beautifully. We had people that were, in their 70s came up to me afterward, because I think Christine was on tour when she'd
Right.
come from away.
Yeah.
And
Unfortunately, I was not present for that one. Yeah.
And so it was like so I became the face of it for that event, and all these people chatting with me. It was really, really exciting that, everyone kept saying, when can we see a full production? When can we see a full production? This needs to be shown. This needs to be heard. And a lot of people were really interested in the subject matter, which thrilled me. Because again, it was just something I know that when I read that article, it hit me. I didn't know about the laws. I didn't know that it was so restricted, and so in only a handful of states at that time made it legal. And that's just, I like to write theater that has social significance. And so to hear the audience be so receptive and clapping along and snapping along at the right times, like that was really exciting to me.
Unfortunately, we have not had a full production yet, so that was the other part of the question, I think. We're still trying to find the right place and the right people to collaborate with to get it on the stage.
And of course, the pandemic didn't help.
Right.
It stalled every creative person, the theater person's trajectory. So.
Mm-hmm.
and yet also allowed virtual performances like this. So that's our
Yes.
silver lining. We
Right.
have the
Yes.
honor of hosting you today, and thank you again. It just I'm blown away. So actually, Bobby, what you just said dovetails nicely with the next question from Sam. He's wondering, did the pandemic influence any changes to the show?
You know, we talked about making some changes, and when we went back and looked at the piece to present for today, we realized that it works nicely as a sort of time period piece now because it's not 2022 or 2021. What year are we in? 2020. And I think we both, in our conversation about it, really like that. Um, in terms of making changes, in terms of what the pandemic did, every creative person will tell you these stories, but I was supposed to have 3 different productions of 3 different shows around the world and a major concert in London, and those were all canceled.
Wow. So hopefully someday soon that you can, debut it in person and, costumes and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, what were your musical inspirations? I loved the play between Robbie, the two characters, and just, musically, like that part where he goes up and down and, he's playing with her.
Oh, good.
Just,
I love that you caught that. It's something that I really wanted the music to feel playful. I really wanted the music to, um, especially that song. Like it's supposed to be that, he's playing and I just wanted to take away the darkness of the moment and let the music be fun and let them play together, sort of flirty and sort of pokey with each other and to just show the beautiful relationship they have. And my favorite moment in that song is when he, without even thinking about it, says how much he loves her brain, and the music stops, and it's that realization for a moment of, but because of your brain, that's why you're not going to be here. But then they move on, and their love triumphs the moment. Um, I actually learned guitar for this show. I always write everything on piano, and for this show, I just heard folky because we talked about setting it in Vermont. I'm from Boston, which is very different than Vermont, but I spent a lot of time in Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, and that just has sort of like a folky element to me. So I picked up a guitar and hurt my piano fingers a lot and tried to. That's why the songs aren't really too musically complicated. Was another thing I wanted to make sure that it didn't go where the audience's mind had to try to follow the musical thread. I really wanted it to be as simple as possible and catchy.
Yeah, the beauty of their relationship really comes through in the music and the lyrics. Like I think it perfectly dovetails, and I forget that I'm in a musical. I think that's the best
Cool.
way to describe it. Like
I
Oh,
like
being
that.
fully
thank you.
immersed in the experience and feeling fully gripped by their relationship and their connection with each other and how they have such a profound love for one another, and they realize that time is precious and life is short, especially for Anne. Um, so Wow. So members of our audience are really curious if they could schedule a performance with you in a particular location. So I thought that would be a great jumping off point since you're eager to get it out into the world and not, beyond the virtual screen.
Well, that's complicated. Thank you so much. Thank you for that
Yes.
interest. It's a little complicated because there's so many elements that go into producing, having a producer take the piece and get it onto the stage. So it's a hard question to answer really because we don't have an official producer of this show yet.
Well, I'm sure you'll keep us posted whenever the moment is ripe for that. Um, there's a representative from Death with Dignity National Center who would like to get in touch with you. So,
Great.
um, so she can message you in the
Yes.
chat. Thank you, Val. So hopefully we can connect you with Bobby and Christine. Um, so the next question is from Michael, and this is, feel free to be absentee about response, but he's wondering, have either of you had an experience such as the one portrayed in your musical?
Well, when I came across the article, uh, my father died in 2012, and my father died a very long, tedious, frustrating death. It was 4 years of up and down, up and down, up and down, most of it down. He did not have cancer. He did not have anything that could be named. He just kept getting sicker and sicker and sicker. We, at one point, I couldn't believe, I'm the youngest of 5 kids, very Catholic. Um, I'm not very Catholic. My family is very Catholic. I'm more spiritual. But my mom one night, my mom was my dad's caregiver. My mom one night called me and she said, I want to find out if there's a way we can end this. And I was like, oh, I think that's against the law. And I started doing research to find out, like, could this happen? And in Massachusetts at the time, the answer was no. Um, but it was just the first time that it had sort of like been said. And, I'm a huge animal person, and I have held in my arms my animals that have been euthanized because that it got to the point where they were just in so much pain, or their quality of life was terrible. And I wanted them to. So it's made a lot of sense to me. But if I'm being honest, I never really thought of it until that moment. Um, Fast forward a couple years later, the hat that I'm wearing is a friend of mine from my youth growing up. She had a very long battle with cancer, and she was in a state that was not legal, but it was something that she and her family had talked about wanting to try to do. So it was something that was in my sort of periphery. And I think that's why when I read the article and I wept, because I just started thinking, like, God, wouldn't that have been great for my dad? Wouldn't that have just been to have us all there? So, and I think any writer, we take our own personal life and put it into our work. Um, and when Christine said that the relationship with the daughter and the father, I was like, oh, I know how to go there. I know where to go. So,
Thank you so much for sharing, Bobby, about your personal experience. Um, and that's really, what we're striving to do here at the Completed Life Initiative, to inform people about the choices that they have available to them, and also to enlighten them about the things that can go wrong, so that they can prepare and really make decisions that honor their own, you know autonomy and personal dignity, in order to uphold um, the best possible end of life experience. Um, and and often, um, you know, the euphemism typically is, well, the family member passed away peacefully at home surrounded by family, and often that's too romanticized. Um, Often there was suffering, and how do we prevent that? And what your musical really beautifully illustrates is, Anne had completed her life, and it was short, and it was tragic and heartbreaking, and yet she was ready to let go. And I just love the ending of, where she says, I'm ready to stop being scared, to be part of the sky and stars above. I know you will live on through me, and I hope I will live on through you. And there's so many things to unpack about that, from Robbie being her caregiver and her lover, and her kind of beautifully being ready to step away, and just their connection. And anyway, thank you. So I see in the chat that everyone is eager to see this at a theater near them. So hopefully today's
we are too.
performance, hopefully today's performance will jumpstart that initiative. I really love to see this musical to come to a theater near everyone in the audience. So
Me too.
so hopefully, spread the word. Please reach out to us at the Completed Life Initiative, and we'll see what's possible. I'd love for Bobby and Christine to take the musical as far as possible. So please keep adding your questions in the chat, and feel free to raise your hand if you want to speak. You can unmute yourself as well. I see Val has a question. Val, go ahead.
I just want to thank you both for taking this on in a very artistic and approachable way. I think it was beautiful, and I'm not surprised with the two performances that you had. How something like this really gives people the permission to come forward with their stories and how they feel, and what happened to their loved ones. And so I just think it's amazing, and I wish you every success with this. I would love to see it in production, and keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Val. Anyone else? Feel free to raise your hand and ask a question. We have some time, and if not, then we'll sign off for today. But I want to give everyone a chance to ask a question of Bobby and Christine. So I see AE Mac has unmuted. Please go ahead.
Am I being heard?
Yes.
Can you hear
hello.
me? Hi.
Is that Faith?
That's Faith in disguise.
Hi, Faith.
I don't know what's going on. I'm not home, but anyway, I just wanted to know what Bobby, you and I can't see names anymore, and I missed the end of the
Christine.
Christine. If you have personally thought about what could or should be done about the lack of legalization to make the choice that your play is talking about in 40 states, or I don't know, some huge number.
Well, I think that's what drew us to wanting to tell the story. I believe that good art it makes you talk. It makes you think. It makes you have a conversation with the person sitting next to you. And I bet you, like, I consider myself a pretty well-educated human being, and I did not know these laws. I did not know. So when I went into the research, it became clearer and clearer that this was a story that needed to be told because people need to be talking about it.
Mhm.
And so I think that is what I like to do with my activism, is put it into my work, and to make people think and then talk. That is always my goal with anything that I work on, is that I want when you leave the theater or at intermission to be able to talk about the show, not things like, oh, I really like that actor. I want it to be, well, what do you think of that? Did you know that was true? Like I remember when I saw Allegiance on Broadway at intermission, I don't know why my history book deleted that story from the world of me growing up in Boston. The story of the
The Japanese
concentration camps.
internment camps, yeah.
Yeah, they were not. It was not in my. So turned to my friend and I said, "Is this true?" And she was like, "Of course it's true. Like, what do you?" And we then had a 15-minute conversation that led into intermission, the show going back to Act Two, and then afterwards I spent the rest of the evening talking about it. I came home, I did research, and kept saying that's what I like about theater. That story, it was an enjoyable story, but it made me learn and it made me want to do something about the fact that I did not know this information.
And in our show, we do have a character who is very much against the idea of this, so that we could have that argument in here to give different points of view. Although clearly we put our protagonist in the position she is because of our own point of view. But yeah, so I agree. It's such a unique way to really enlighten and provoke.
Mm,
And I'm with Bobby. That's where the kind of theater that I love to see the most uh, does that, and hopefully entertain and um, yeah, bring up all kinds of feelings about things. Whether you just you agree with them or you don't, or you are now open to the idea of exploring all the different uh, or many different facets of it.
May I speak?
Yes, please go ahead.
I just wanted to say it is important to keep in mind that living may be important to some persons till the death comes naturally. Even though quality of life may not look so good to others, person will want to live. So we should keep the life also in the mind, not only the good death.
I think I understood what you said.
Thank you. Um, my takeaway from what she shared was to keep in mind the value of the life as well as the good death.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
That's what the father character actually, I like. For our presentation today, we only focused on Anne and Robbie. There are other characters, and her dad. That's why in that song she's saying, "Let me go. You have to let me go." Um, he's concerned religiously, as is Kimber, and you know, I opened my mouth and said I'm Catholic, and then covered my mouth and said I'm actually spiritual. And I think that we should just let everyone make their own choices in life. That's my feeling.
Absolutely, and to really uphold each and every person as having a different life experience and a different
Yes.
dying experience, and to be um, and to not shy away from that. That conversation is so stigmatized, and yet, what does it mean to have a good death? What does it mean to
Right.
be positive about dying without being morbid about it? But it's a natural part of our life cycle, and um, so thank you, Padma, for your question and your comment. So Bobby and Christine, you touched upon this a bit um, in your previous comment, but I just want to kind of zero in on what you want the audience to take away from Tilt Soon Ann. There's many factors, and there's I personally feel like wide open, open-hearted to that experience that we just went through with the performance excerpts. But what are the takeaways that you would like the audience to bring with them to their friends, their communities, and their families?
Well, aside from what we have talked about already, I know it was really important to us to really focus on the idea of being present in your life, no matter what curveballs you might get thrown, or even more so the very large questions that you might face and the very large challenges that you might face. The idea of really being present in the life that you're given, in the life that you have. So that's a big takeaway, and also the idea of love, everlasting love that goes beyond the mortal coil, as they say, and the power of that, and the power of family, and that hopefully can transcend all of the challenges that we put our characters through.
I'm with you.
Absolutely. Thank you. So a question from Michael about the file that we shared with the transcript. He's wondering if he can use the file to share, and he says to tickle the interest of theater companies that we know. Of course, the rights of that document are yours, and also feel free to message Michael privately, but just wanted to throw that out there.
Where's Michael? Cool. Michael, can you drop your email address in the chat?
Perfect. Thank you. He gave a thumbs up. That's a good sign.
Great.
Great.
I wanted to add one thing to what Christine just said. Something that so I wrote the music, but I was in a part of like the story, but Christine wrote all the words. And in something that I remember us talking a lot about is that we did want to represent various points of view in the piece, but ultimately we wanted to represent that people can have different points of view and still support and love.
Right.
That was very, very clear from the beginning that was a goal of ours. And man, wouldn't that be great if the whole world could just take that lesson?
Absolutely. Thank you for articulating that so beautifully, Bobby and Christine. Michael put his email into the chat. So
Yes, got it.
for your
Thank
awareness.
you.
Yeah. So the last call for questions for Bobby and Christine about their beautiful musical. Feel free to unmute or to put your question in the chat. I see a thumbs up from Dean.
Thanks, Dean.
Many thumbs up. I
Thanks,
think
Val.
everyone's
Thanks,
just
everybody.
Thank
I think
you.
everyone's just blown away by your talent and your good heart, and thank you for being present with us here today. It means a lot, and when I learned about your work, I was just delighted that the sometimes difficult conversations that we have at the Completed Life are really translated so beautifully into the performing arts sphere, where it can be connected with on a different level, and you can walk away from having this like emotional experience where you turn to the person sitting next to you and say, wait, I didn't know about this. What does that mean? And then you go on to have those follow-up conversations. And really that's what we seek to offer and to foster at the Completed Life Initiative. So I want to give another round of applause to Bobby and Christine for sharing their work with us here today. Thank you so much for being here and for engaging our questions. It has meant so much, and you're doing tremendous work. So, so thank you again. And
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Everyone.
Yes.
Absolutely. For everyone out there watching the recording, please continue to stay connected with us here at the Completed Life Initiative. We continually offer programming around aid in dying, the right to die. What does it mean to voluntarily stop eating and drinking? What are the complications that can arise at the end of life? And really, what does it mean to live a completed life? So that is the point of this 3-week completed arts summer festival series, to really experience what does it mean to live a completed life through the performing arts. So thank you again so much to Bobby and Christine, with much appreciation for the work that you're doing. And to everyone out there, please join us next Wednesday, same time, same place, for part 2 of our festival series with Grief Dialogues. So until then, be well, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.